Hello and welcome to Scoping Out Tools. Today I'm going to be showing you my sharpening station. It's based on the Rob Cosman one, so you'll see it very similar, but I nowhere near have his level of experience. But I've been able to get a sharp enough blade to give a nice enough finish with my old Stanley one. But I'm wondering, with the vintage ones that I've just bought, if I can actually get the same level of sharpness. So before I go on to my sharpening station, I thought I'd actually show you some of the planes. So this plane I actually bought probably about 2.5 years ago when I was just starting to get interested in starting to do some woodwork aspect. They actually asked if I was going to make it into a lamp. I said no, I'm going to try and make it usable again. So as you can see, it cost £10. The shape bit here is actually in pretty good condition. It doesn't seem to be as much damage, but they have actually used a metal hammer on it. There is no marks or maker marks on it, but there is something that says 2 3/4. Um, I'm assuming that's an inch. Just checking the toe. Yeah, there's a hit on the toe, and there is actually no strike point here. I'll show you about taking it out in a minute, but obviously there's a lot more other people that can actually show you how to properly operate the plane. Another plane that I actually got was the coffin plane, just because I thought it looked nice. This was again a couple of years ago before I was actually planning to use them. It's not in a fantastic condition, but there isn't actually that many bashes on it. It's not flat at the bottom though. They're when they've replaced the throat, it's slightly raised. So I'm going to um, plane that off so that's nice and flat. But I that was about £7, and again I thought, yeah, I'm not going to get any more of that. But then I about 6 months ago I found out one was about £4, so I had to have that one, and then I got another a 3 pack for 15 just recently, a couple of weeks ago. This one was only £8, a little bit more beaten up. You can see actually that there's cracks there where people have actually tried to force the iron out without actually using the strike point. They've just actually grabbed it and then they've split this area. I don't know if that's too much of an issue for it, but again, there is some sort of number on it at the bottom. I'll need to look at there, but it does have master written at the front. Sorry, there's not good light here. I still need to finish this setup, but I can see I've actually got scratches on the bottom. So before I use this, I need to plane this flat, and hopefully I can use the other one to plane it. And both of those I bought a couple of years ago. And I said, yep, no more. I'm not going to buy any more planes. Two's enough because I'm not using them. I'm using the metal plane. But then I can't oversee a bargain. And so I got this one, a big beastie. This one is probably about 25 inches long. And it's got NE mall on it, but it's NE mall on both sides. I don't know if this is somebody doing it personally. I've not looked at the state of the iron on this. The base is actually quite nice. There's a small divot out of it, but in general it's quite nice. Small strike marks, no strike point to get um, the 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 wood bit out, but I can see it's obviously been hit by a metal hammer because the iron has spread out. But that was £4, so I couldn't give that up. And I thought that was me done with the wood planes. Boy, was I wrong, because when I saw this one for £10, um, this was a couple of weeks ago, it was in such good condition, I couldn't say no to it. It's got a lovely hand grip here. The it has probably been a lot better cared for, and it's got the original iron on it. I think it said um, Matheson and Son, and it's a Scottish company, and the iron looks in really good condition. So I'm going to look forward to actually sharpening this one and seeing what it can actually do. And about a couple of years ago, I had actually bought a small plane on this. I think this might be a rabbit plane, I might be wrong. But interestingly, it's got the hole in the centre for the shavings to come out at the side. So that's quite a nice little feature. Now, it's been scuffed and everything, so it's very difficult to see any marks on it. So I can't really age it. It is 9.5 inches, which I think that puts it at the later years, because these all these moulding and beading planes and all that seem to have been made between 1750 and 1950. And so, like moulding plane, this is like something like this. This one is a little bit longer, so I think this might be an earlier one. But there's a couple of marks on it, but unfortunately, owners put marks on it as well as the makers, and so sometimes it's difficult to distinguish between the two. Um, but this is a moulding plane because it will make the moulding here. And I think I do have a spring line, which means that I don't mill it like this, I plane it like this at an angle. Now, the other moulding plane here, this is quite a nice example of it. So this one's got 5/8 on it, and it's got G Morton. But again, I don't know if that's the maker or the owner. It could be an earlier one because there's not really any embellishments in that. But then you've got this one, which I suppose would be more of a beading plane. I'm no expert, but again, this has got W Butler on it, and obviously it would form quite a wide bead. So I'm hoping to be able to actually refurbish some of these, get them back in use. But I ended up was getting these for £4 or £5 each. So the very first one that I got was about £2, but all the other ones I've got was £4 or £5 each, and I went a bit overkill. So now I've got about 18 up here, and I'm wanting to actually use them. It's a little bit less scary than the router because it's not as spinny. There is also like this one for cutting the sort of like grooves in the system as well. Um, so yeah, and if I find out anything about these, so this was actually a London one, Ely and Sons. I'll need to actually find out various bits. Again, it's got the hole for ejecting little bits of wood. Anyway, let's get sharpening. And this is my sharpening setup. So those familiar with Rob Cosman, you will understand what's happening here. For those that are not, I've got the Trend Diamond Stone, 300 on one side, 1000 on the other, and then I've got the 16,000 Shapton. That was quite expensive. This was middling, but that one was over £100. But I wanted to start off with a nice system. Maybe it was a mistake to jump in so high, but actually the nice finishing, I think it'll remove frustrations. So I've used this on my Stanley, all okay. But before I try it on the wooden one, I want to see how my shaving is to begin with. Okay, I've got a few bits on the ground here. Right, so hammer or mallet, and I'm just going to try setting it up first. So that's too far in, so I'm just gonna tap the back. Again, I've watched this for in a video, right? So I'm finding it scratching, but it's not getting anything. So I think it is just picking up the small shavings. So I'll give it a little tap front to put it down a bit, and maybe just. Oh, that's too much. So yeah. So I don't think that's gonna be cutting. It's yeah. Okay, so off to the sharpening station. Actually, before I do it, let's just take it out here. So no strike plate, but this is the area that I'm going to do it. I can't pull it out just now. Oh, probably shouldn't have done it there. I'll do it here. And that should. Oh. Oops. Nope. Okay, that was a bit harder there. But this is now the plate. No, this is now the iron. Okay. So let's take it over and see what I can do. you get it that I've got to practice a little bit more just to sort of have a little look at it properly. I probably should actually um, um, probably should have actually given this a sharpener before I started, but yeah, so I've got to really start sharpening that iron more, because look at that, that's the difference between it. But I want to get that on this one, and I think I need to just bend a little bit longer, getting that sorted. And that's why I go for 16,000. I saw that how he did this, and I thought I quite liked it. So that's what it was before. That's it there. So yeah. So a little while to go before I can get that on here, but it's a start. And that is my vintage plane on my sharpening station. Sharpening station, as I mentioned, go to Rob Cosman's channel to find out a bit more detail. He does a very, very good tutorial. He is a very, very good teacher. I teach in my job for a living, and I recognise how he's got very good training methodologies. Will I be giving up on this? No, because that was down to me rather than the plane, I think, that I didn't prepare this iron correctly. So I'm gonna, when I've got a bit more time, I'm gonna properly refurbish it. I've got all the other ones to refurbish, the coffin plane, the moulding planes, which I'm most looking forward to. Am I giving up on this tool yet? No, because I can use this very easily, and I'm gonna need to actually plane some stuff with my other wood projects. Anyway, like this video if you like it. If you do like the video, also actually have a look at my other videos. See if there's something in there that you like. I do art. I'm going to be doing the science. A solder video will be coming. I just need time to actually jump on the machine with it, and also vintage tool hauls, as well as some stuff from the shop. So I've got a couple of nice planes coming up, and let's see what I can get from them. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.